Hey guys, and welcome to the first, I guess, CK2 to EU4 conversion that I've done on the channel. And yeah, so basically, I want to give you a quick rundown of what's been happening in the last, I think, maybe 30 or 40 years that I was playing the game off camera on my own, because there's a couple more things that have happened. Now, first off, we actually start off with a holy war that Basilea Maria II has declared on the Sultan of the Bari Sultanate, because he was actually at war with Aragon. He declared a war to take over Athens, which was held by the Aragonese, and we could, you know, it's bad enough that Catholics hold our holy Greek lands, but it would be even worse if the Muslims would get any hold of that. So therefore we decided to declare war right at that time while they were busy with Castile, Aragon, and I think some other smaller nations. And we declared that war to take back Jerusalem. And yeah, as you can see in the next slide here, we've been successful. This was actually the only real battle that we had, pretty decisive battle there. 30,000 against 30,000 men. They had way more cavalry than we did, but we had the advantage in terms of heavy infantry and pikemen, and we also had, I think, superior leaders. But as you can see, it was a Pyrrhic victory. We lost the same amount of troops, basically, but we did win, we did push them back, and then I was using some of our very nice treasury in order to actually raise the Great Company, 20,000 men, and they were basically able to deal with part of their forces that were running around in our country, because they couldn't decide if they want to siege Athens or defend their homelands. And that was actually what made me win this war, really. The next slide I'm actually going to quickly have to check out. Right, so this is where we have won the war. We have reclaimed Jerusalem, which is kind of amazing. And then in the next one we sorry guys, I just have to quickly see what's going on here. In the next one we have this was, I think, a month after we finished our war against the Baris. We received the jihad for Anatolia that the Caliph of the Sunnis had declared, and that was pretty annoying because we were fighting the Baris. We're just fighting the Baris. Then Naples declared a war on us to take over, I think, some province in our Savoyan exclave, and then this jihad came in. So that was pretty difficult to deal with, but as you can see in the next slide, we are not really focusing on them. Luckily, the Baris, as you can see here, they're currently fighting Aragon in Epirus up there, so they were busy, and they decided not to join that jihad, and therefore there were only small nations that actually fought there, and that was cool. So therefore we could focus on Naples and basically just you know, let them run through our country. They didn't have enough men to actually siege. In the next slide here, I just want to show you that the Golden Horde, the leader of the Golden Horde at some point was Orthodox, and he decided to join us in our holy war. He didn't really do much, but still I thought that was kind of funny. We also have won that war against Naples because I've been just focusing on that. We won that, gained a little bit of money, and then we also won the jihad, at least, well, I guess the jihad failed, I should say, and we won our war, defended our territory, and yeah, so we had a triumph held in Byzantium. That was kind of cool. And then one of our kinsmen actually forced us to declare war on Naples. Luckily, that was not too difficult, and we took over one of the provinces in Anatolia. It doesn't really matter that much. Next up, we had a crusade for Jerusalem, and I like how it says there that it doesn't concern us, even though we hold Jerusalem. But luckily, that was not actually a crusade against us. It was a crusade against the Bari Sultanate, and they basically wanted to take over all of the other provinces, right? Because the Kingdom of Jerusalem is much bigger than just the duchy that we took. And yeah, so that was happened. I actually kind of liked it. I would have supported that one, because having some Catholics around us would have obviously made it much easier for us to hold the territory. But yeah, here you can actually see our pacts. So we have a pact with the Holy Roman Emperor, with Abyssinia or Ethiopia, with France, and not shown here is also Aragon. So yeah, we have a lot of alliances, and you can also see the traits of our Basilea. And yeah, Constantinople prospers. I just wanted to show you that, of course, under our rule. And unfortunately, the crusade for Jerusalem had failed. But yeah, that's of course a black day. And then I do want to show you the end here. So that is obviously the political map mode. Just see the big realms here. Then we have the government form. Now that's actually going to be interesting for EU4 because of the institutions. Feudalism will not be everywhere. The Golden Horde is going to struggle here. And then last but not least, we'll have the religion. Obviously, you see the Orthodox belt that is basically separating the Sunni or the Muslims from the Catholics. But yeah, now I'm going to show you what happened with our save in EU4. Alright guys, so let's have a look at what the converter has done to our CK2 save. And now as you can see, so far things are not looking too different, but as we zoom in, we can find one big difference already. Anatolia has become its own country. Luckily though, they are one of our vassals, but that's very interesting. That's one thing I actually do enjoy quite a bit. Obviously it makes us weaker, but it does kind of make a lot of sense since we were an empire in CK2, and we still are, I believe, but we made one of our cousins, I believe, or one of our kinsmen in any case, we made him the, well, not the duke, we actually made him the king of Anatolia, if you remember. It was just a viceroyalty, to be fair, but still, they've been kings for several generations, and they have actually been very important in our eastward expansion. They have helped us with I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 provinces. These 8 provinces, as well as these 2 actually, have been conquered mostly by our Anatolian lords here, our Anatolian kings. So they've been incredibly important for our eastward expansion. So I do feel like it definitely makes a lot of sense that they are their own country. Now, I'm not too sure why Wallachia is not its own country as well, because they've been a kingdom tier as well. So yeah, maybe they just didn't have enough points in terms of development. That could be it. Don't really know what the requirements are here, but you know, that's cool either way. You'll see that a couple of other realms are broken apart as well. I'll show that in a second, but for now I do want to focus on our own lands. Now obviously Naples holds some lands here, Aragon has lands here, and then Venice is of course a true menace as they have a lot of lands here as well. Now what we do have though, that's very cool, we have a lot of claims on the de jure parts of the Byzantine Empire. And what's really cool about these claims is that they are actually permanent. So they will never go away, I guess, unless we lose a war and these people make us give up our claims. But unless that happens, we're always going to have claims on these lands, which is going to make it incredibly easy for us to, well, acquire new lands, because basically we have war goals, or casus belli against all of these nations, and we can declare war right away without having to fabricate any claims. That's pretty cool. Now, it used to be even better, but maybe a little bit overpowered, so I like that change, because it used to be that you would get cores on all of these lands that were previously part of your de jure empire. So I think having permanent claims is a much better way to go, but obviously it makes it a little bit harder. Still, that's pretty amazing. So yeah, that's basically the little introduction here. I do want to quickly show you our court, because we have Basilea Maria II. She's 63 years old. Can you believe that? She was inaugurated in 15th August 1398. She's been ruling for a damn long time, and that is pretty amazing. Now, it was her holy war over here that caused us to get control over Jerusalem. Now, unfortunately, our lands are not connected here. That's really sad. And what kind of bothers me actually is the fact that the religion here is Sunni, because I had everything converted to Orthodoxy. So that's a little bit annoying. But you know, I guess that's fine. Not really sure why that is, but that's okay. Now, unfortunately, as you can see, the Baris Sultanate has a permanent claim on Jerusalem. So we're going to be having some real problems with them. But yeah, we'll talk about that in a second as well. But yeah, let's have a quick look at our ruler again though. So she's tolerant, which is not really sure why that is. We did lose our zealous trait. She's also an entrepreneur, so maybe that's why. I don't know. Entrepreneur, don't really know where that is coming from. And obsessive perfectionist. So an AI would actually try to avoid ugly map borders, and the map borders are pretty ugly at the moment. And so yeah, we're gonna have to try and fix that. And a lot of you have actually been scolding me in the comments that I should fix that, so maybe that's something I'm gonna have to do very soon. Our heir is Theus, and he's on pretty good stats as well. He's a little bit better military though, and he's actually a Midas touched, which I wonder if that has been transferred over from CK2, as he was a Midas touched in CK2. So I don't know, but that would be really cool actually. So yeah, extra tax for him. And I wonder if his son is also been transferred over. So if I was to disinherit him here, I wonder if we would get his grandson, or our grandson and his son as the new heir, because I named that guy, and yeah, that would be cool. But that's gonna be kind of a surprise, I guess, if we do this as a full series. But yeah, that was what I wanted to talk about our court here. But let's have a quick look at the rest of the world. First of all, the great powers is something we could check out. So obviously Ming is #1 here. We can't even see them though, because they're over here hidden behind the fog of war. But then next up we have the Karites. They're incredibly powerful over here in India. Look at this. Look at how, what the fuck? Look how mighty powerful they are. And not even that. They have more. They have this huge country as their vassal. Yes. So the strongest Indian nation by far has the second strongest nation as a vassal. So they are undoubtedly the rulers of India, and they're probably going to gobble up the rest here very quickly. And then I just hope that they're going to be at war with Ming for some time, because otherwise, well, we're going to have some trouble. Because the next great power here is the Ilkhanate right here. As you can see, they're pretty powerful as well. They have Tabriz as their vassal, but they have a huge problem, and that is their religious disunity. Because there's something very interesting that happened here. Their rulers have switched religions several times. So they have been Buddhist, which is why you can see some Theravada over here. They've been Shia for a long time. They've also been some Zoroastrians here, and now they are actually Hurufi, which is a heresy of the Shias, of the Shiites. So yeah, we'll see how they do. They're probably gonna disintegrate, but that only means that, you know, neighboring powers such as the Baris or the Karites could really eat them up and become even more powerful. So we'll have to see. Maybe we want to even keep them alive just to have a balance here. But yeah, we'll see. Next up, we'll have the Bari Sultanate, which is obviously right here, and they will hate us. Now, they have a couple of vassals of their own as well, over here and over here, and they've been grinding away at Ethiopia. We've been able to hold them off, but not sure if we're going to be able to do the same in EU4 here, as they have tremendous amounts of development as well as troops. So we'll have to see. They obviously also control these lands. Is just a wasteland, so they're not actually that big, but still they are very powerful. Next up, we actually have the first proper European great power. That's France. Very mighty indeed. Now they do control Toulouse over here as their vassal, but Brittany as well as Aquitaine are actually held by other powers, as well as this province over here is held by Castile, and well, I guess as a kind of a payback, they have taken some Spanish provinces over here. But yeah, definitely mighty indeed. They even have Flanders, so very powerful indeed. Now, I probably should not forget about Savoy, our not so small exclave that we have over here. We'll have to see if we're going to be able to defend against France. We might have to give that up. But yeah, next up is actually us. We're the 6th great power, but that's going to change once we are actually able to annex Anatolia, as that is a huge part, a huge amount of development. I think we have the biggest vassal in the game. So yeah, that's that. And next great power, we have Castile. Now Castile, they actually are a little bit bigger than they look, because they have Murcia as vassal, first of all, and secondly, they have huge holdings here in Africa. They have obviously huge parts here that they control directly, and they have Fez as a vassal. And Aragon, even though they're not the great power, but they are equally strong. They have Aragon as a vassal. They have many lands here, and that's basically it. But they do have the same dynasty as the great power number 8, Naples, and they have the same dynasty, so we might see Aragonese-Nepalese union. after all. That would be really cool, even though we have an alternate start here, but that would be really nice to see. And Naples, obviously, they have all kinds of problems over here, and over here even, and they have Sicily as their vassal as well. So, yeah, they're going to be a thorn in our side for quite some time as well. Not as scary as the Baris, but still, they're going to be a little bit annoying. So yeah, that was basically the great powers I wanted to show off. Now, there's a couple of other regions I want to show you because they're interesting. First of all, the British Isles, because we have England over here, the dominating power, as they have Lancaster as their vassal, and obviously they have a lot of development here. But then we also have Wales with Cornwall as their vassal. We have Scotland with Galloway as their vassal, basically giving them the provinces that they have at the start of EU4. And we have even Ireland that has formed with Northern Ireland as their vassal. So that's going to be very interesting to see who comes out on top here. I do believe that England is probably going to win, but if there's going to be a Scottish-Irish alliance, maybe even the Welsh within there, they might be able to push back the English, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Then obviously the HRE is very important. They're broken apart, of course, but the HRE mechanics are enabled. So we have Gelre, Volkmar von Hohenzollern as the current emperor. We have Bohemia, Brunswick, Austria, Tyrol, Holland, Upper Burgundy, and Swabia as electors. There's only 28 princes and no free cities, but that's okay. And basically their territory is this. The Shadow Kingdom has already happened, and they have lost a couple of Swiss provinces here, and they have lost Pomerania, and they have gained Jalen. But other than that, it is pretty much the HRE like we know it, except that there's no Burgundy, and these provinces are directly part of the empire. So yeah, that's pretty cool. We're going to see who comes out on top. I'm pretty sure that either Bohemia, as they control a lot of lands over here, or Brunswick are going to make it, because they are the biggest forces, but we'll see. That could be interesting as well. Then we have Sweden, mighty Sweden, controlling Iceland, as well as their vassal Bergslagen over here, and some provinces here that they're probably not going to be able to hold on to. The Teutonic Order is, interestingly enough, very strong as well, as they are a combination of the Teutonic and Livonian Order. And then we have this big, Orthodox mess over here, with, obviously Catholic Lithuania and Poland in there as well, and the Golden Horde all over the place. So yeah, this is very messy. You can't really say too much, except that I guess Novgorod is the strongest power here. But Moscow is also not too bad. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see what's going on there. But yeah, I do want to quickly show off a little bit more of the religion here. Obviously, this is a big change, that we have a lot of Catholicism here. Obviously, Orthodoxy in all of Anatolia is very important. Then this mess, whatever this should be, this is kind of interesting, but the rest is pretty standard, I guess. And obviously having Sunni that deep into European territory is very interesting. One more thing I want to show off are the institutions, because, yeah, that's very important. The Golden Horde, they're actually not as powerful as they seem. They're a huge, vast country, but they are lacking in institutions, which is probably the reason why they're not considered a great power, as they get a penalty to their technology here. 50%, as they have feudalism not embraced, and since they're such a huge country, it's going to take a long time. So I'm not too worried about the Golden Horde, not too worried about the Ilkhanate, but Baris, they are definitely going to be our biggest threat, and maybe France. So yeah, these two, they're really going to be difficult to deal with. Yeah, other than that, we have development that we could check out. Now, the biggest city, or the most developed province, is actually Venice, with 37 development, and then only after is Constantinople with 30, and then we have provinces like France with 28. So we're the second best city, second greatest city in the world, but we'll change that very soon, as we will have to go to war with Venice. In any case, one more thing I do want to show you that is kind of interesting to see are the cultures, because they have changed quite a bit. Not so much in the Balkans, but definitely here in the Holy Roman Empire territory, because we don't really have a whole lot of different cultures. We have basically just German, Pomeranian, and Dutch. That's it. Interestingly enough, Prussian is not part of the German culture group, so the Teutonic Order, interestingly enough, does not accept Prussian. But yeah, that's just kind of funny. Then we have the French culture group here with Breton and Aquitaine. Then Castilian, that also has, Portuguese, Basque, Catalan, English, obviously, the known ones. The Irish are on their own. Okay, that's cool. Up here, Sweden. Pretty cool. And then Russian. Yeah, obviously there's just the Russians here. We have the Balkan religions, not religions, but cultures. Hungary and Romanian, actually. We have a good deal of Romanians under our control. And yeah, then obviously over here, Turkish and all these other kind of things. Yeah, not too important. And yeah, last but not least, I do want to show off a little bit of the ledger because I did go over the development a little bit, but I do want to show you. I actually want to see who has the most of the people that we know. So the Karites have the most, but they also have a huge vassal. Then with the Ilkhanate, they also have with Tabriz a pretty big vassal. Then we have the Baris, they don't really have many big vassals. France does only have Toulouse, not too much development there, I don't think. The Golden Horde doesn't have any vassals, I believe. Actually, let me quickly, I cannot move that, okay. Do you have any? No, you don't have any vassals, okay. So that's interesting, but yeah, they're not too scary. Then it's us, then we have Castile, Aragon, and it rattles down. Okay, now income is actually also kind of interesting to see. We are up there. Yeah, we're actually making all that much money. We're making a lot of money. Actually, not that much from trade. I thought we would be making more money from trade. Okay, well there's that. Treasury, well, okay, I guess that changes rapidly, so that's not too important. Max manpower, that would be something. France is really high up there. That's really cool. Much better than the Karites. That must be because of their religious disunity, I can only imagine. School I did not want to check. I do want to check the total manpower, or the total amount of troops actually. Bari's 45,000. And we only have 27, so this will be incredibly difficult to fight them. Look at their force limits, 61. They have almost twice our force limits. Damn. But yeah, what about navies? I guess that's also kind of important. Total navies, with the second biggest and only the Baris. Of course, they have one more galley. But yeah, I guess that pretty much wraps it up. So now you guys have to let me know whether or not you want to see this as a full series on my channel. Now right now I have the Ethiopia campaign going on, but once that one ends, I will start a new series, and my patrons will get the last say in this, because they will get to pick what series I start. They will get to vote on that. But if you guys really want to see this, then I will make this one of the possible options that my patrons can choose from, so there's at least a possibility that this becomes a full series. So what I want you guys to do is obviously leave your ideas, leave your thoughts about this in the comments, and you can also just like this video. That will also tell me that you really want to see this series. So yeah, I guess that's that, and I hope to see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.